So how are you doing?
Good. I mean, it's been exciting the last I want to say about 5 months now. Been working on this, trying to expand the team a little bit. I just brought on a couple of new interns, which I'm super.
So now I don't remember you having this company.
No, that's right. So I kind of was partially building these projects for folks who were interested to explore this. I was part of this small community of builders who are interested, and this is kind of an evolving field. It constantly changes, and I started kind of playing around with it. To be honest, I want to say about 6 months back, 6 to 7 months back. And then I built out these projects for people, and it really worked. So, especially for these couple of companies, they were extended connections of mine. They're not like completely out of the blue. So
Yeah,
they're
sure.
extended connections of mine.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to them about I'm playing around with these more than Chat GPT. I think a lot of people restrict themselves to just Chat GPT or maybe Claude. It's almost like varying degrees of how much you're
Yeah.
interested or leaning in. Like ChatGPT is like level zero. Of course, the model gets better and better, but then people are trying out other solutions, and then if you keep going on that path, you start including more tools into this ChatGPT, connecting them
And then
to
you go down a
multiple things.
rabbit hole.
That's the rabbit hole I was into. So
Yeah.
I was down through that rabbit hole, and I started building some of these just to kind of mainly the whole idea was that whole podcast thing that I was doing, that
Yeah.
was, it was, I mean, it takes a bit of time to put that whole workflow together, right?
Yeah.
Be it the editing, be it the content, be it everything that follows on. So I was looking primarily at ways to smoothen that out. I was like, okay, can I use AI to kind of smoothen some of these aspects of, be it content creation, of writing the posts, or be it stuff around the scheduling piece? Can I build out a system that makes this whole workflow a little smoother, because it was taking a lot of my time, and that's how I actually got into it. And then I built out this small marketing system for this ghost kitchen down in San Diego,
Right.
and they found it really helpful. It was kind of really
Okay.
speeding
Now
up their
all right.
workflow.
And of course, that story was what
Yeah,
prompted me
yeah.
to reach out to you
Hmm.
about this because I thought, I know so many. I mean, a company is doing 300,000. That's small.
Exactly.
Okay.
No, too big.
Hell, I do that myself. And
Yeah.
a lot more than that, all by myself.
Hmm.
But it still struck me as okay. There are a lot of small businesses out there, the
Exactly.
SMBs that are, um, um, I don't know whether it's struggling to figure out how to use AI.
Hmm.
Most of them don't even they really just don't pay attention to
Exactly.
AI
Exactly.
because they don't get it,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
don't get how to just step in, and so
Hmm.
it's an overwhelming
Exactly.
feeling for them, right?
Yeah.
And so, and I'm that's one of the things that I've been really working on I've kind of gotten away from working
Hmm.
with the big
Companies.
companies
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's like when I was consulting for Procter and Gamble, right?
Yeah.
And I helped introduce the Swiffer wet jet to the
Yeah.
world,
Yeah.
right? Well,
I remember
you know,
that.
how much difference did I make to Procter and Gamble? Even though
Sure.
Swiffer WetJet is, this
Yeah.
incredibly fantastically successful product, how much
Yeah.
difference did I make to Procter and Gamble? And how much difference did I make to people, right? And the answer to that is nothing. Okay?
Yeah.
And I want to make a difference to people.
Hmm.
So for the last several years, I've been spending a lot more time on focusing on the smaller
Scale.
businesses, and so my radar is up,
Hmm.
and and in particular AI. I have been trying to help these small businesses
Hmm.
understand the just brain dead simple stuff.
Yeah.
So like even when you comment about, oh, people are all stuck on ChatGPT and maybe they're not using Perplexity and Claude and that
Yeah.
stuff. Um, See, from my perspective, I'm kind of looking at that like, okay, I'm
Hmm.
okay with that
Hmm.
because for most of these people, ChatGPT is,
Yeah. That's right.
oh
I
my
can tell you how many
gosh.
I can tell you how many people don't use that either. Like, even
So
ChatGPT, it's
even if
like,
I can just get them using ChatGPT
yeah,
comfortably,
yeah,
they can still do amazing things.
yeah, yeah,
And that's where you came in, my friend. You know
yeah.
that I saw that story and I thought, see, that's a $300,000 a year business with 6 employees.
Hmm.
They're making nothing.
They're making nothing.
They're
Exactly.
making nothing.
Hmm.
And uh and yet and now you're showing them you know, in your story, you know, it was just a teaser to me. It was like, what the fuck? How did you do this?
Yeah,
How did you convince these guys to do this stuff? So
yeah.
that's why I reached out to you because I thought I want to periodically
Hmm.
I'm not doing my podcast anymore. I'm not
Hmm.
doing blog anymore. I'm doing just kind of random um broadcasting
Hmm. Hmm.
where when I find something interesting,
Yeah.
then I share it with you know, and my crew is that you know we call them our BFFs, and that's my crew,
Yeah.
and that's what and so I saw yours and I said this is for my crew, you know, this is for my BFFs. I want to hear from you. So
Yeah.
okay, so you started to okay. Let me back up and ask you this question.
Hmm.
And if it doesn't make sense to start here, then you
No,
know,
go
or
ahead. Yeah.
continue for your right. My question is, how actually did you connect with these people?
Facebook.
Okay, you
Facebook.
met them on Facebook.
Yes, I met them through a known connection, but their main channel of getting any content out is Facebook. And I'll give you more details as to who their target audience is.
Go
Their
ahead.
target audience is the elder, I think it's 55 plus, or maybe even uh, older audience who want to order in food for the week. So they have this rolling weekly menu that they have.
Oh, it's not a restaurant.
It's not a restaurant. It's a ghost kitchen. Basically,
It's a I saw you said ghost chicken, ghost
kitchen.
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 Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so
And
they're
those are, of
basically,
course, those are fascinating just in
yeah,
themselves, right?
yeah,
And they're in San Diego.
yeah. They're in San
Okay.
Diego.
All right. So you saw this. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I saw the no, I kind of got connected through a connection, but their main channel of getting their word out was Facebook. So they have these weekly menus that they, I think, publish it. And then once that weekly menu gets published, then they have people kind of ordering in, and they have this app through which they use for people to order in, and then the delivery happens. So that's their whole setup. In most cases, some people pick up the food, some people just have it delivered, but it's like pre-prepared meals for the week. And so oftentimes it's like people ordering 3 times a week, 2 times a week. So there is a schedule behind all of that. But their situation was something like this. They wanted to make sure there are more people signing in, of course. They did understand that there was a particular group of people who were benefited by these pre-cooked meals. And these are folks who at least thrice a week, don't necessarily want to get out and eat. It's too expensive to get out and eat. However, they'd like to have something, brought in, or they
Something
could,
decent.
something decent. Yeah, something decent from a with a like out of a menu that they are eventually getting comfortable at and all that.
Okay.
So this is a situation. They need to increase their top line make sure they are bringing in more people who are signing up for these new subscriptions that they are rolling over. Because so far, what they've seen is people come in, order for 3 or 4 times, but kind of churn away. Or it's they don't exactly churn away, but it's not a subscription setup makes it much easier for them
Yeah,
to be more efficient,
right.
right? However, they have to convince people to go through that subscription. There's a subset of population who of their customer population who have not been exposed to the subscription. In other words, it's going to be a new thing that's going to come to
Okay,
them.
so in
Yeah,
the
they
beginning, they
just,
kind of just relied on these people reordering.
yeah, exactly.
I got you. All right,
Now they're going to do
and
the
so
subscription.
they wanted to and of course,
Yeah,
smart thing is
yeah,
to create a subscription.
exactly. And that makes it easy for them to manage their operations. It makes it easy for, I mean, it kind of keeps folks tied to them, customers tied to them, and all that.
It
So,
does keep people tied to them. Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
yeah,
That's the whole idea of a subscription, right?
exactly. So this is the high
But of
level.
course you have to keep delivering value.
Absolutely, absolutely. Keep
Right.
delivering value. I think that's actually that you. It's a good segue because part of their positioning was okay. Now we need to churn more content that it's not just flashy content, more educative content towards our audience because these audience they tend to read, spend more time reading a post as long as they find value in it. They're not going to be the ones who are constantly and I don't know, this was a pattern of behavior that they mentioned to me that their audience typically read these posts because they found their longer posts have more engagement versus something like a hey, flashy, this is the food is
Well,
here.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so that was one of the things. So
Yeah.
then how can we create educated posts? And here's the other thing. There were 6 people and 3 of them are actually part-time. So it was because to keep an operation, as you mentioned, right, $300,000, 6 people is not much. And therefore they had only 3 part-time and then 3 full-time working on it. So then they were just trying to get things rolling so that they could really get through the year. I mean, coming quarters at a
Pay
much
the
better place.
bills,
Pay the bills, exactly. So yeah,
right?
so that's where we were working with them.
And Ghost
Hmm.
Kitchen,
Hmm.
um, for those, because I'm going to show this to our friends, our
Sure, sure,
buddies,
sure. Mhm.
uh, um, and even though this doesn't really apply to why you
Hmm.
and I are talking,
Hmm.
but a ghost kitchen is something that it's not permanent. It's temporary.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they were. I mean, their lease with that ghost kitchen. Yeah, you're right. It is temporary, but as a business, they wanted to continue. I mean, they still want. They're still running, and they will continue to run as long as they have a
A
good take rate
location,
on
as long
the
as they got a
location.
place to go,
Exactly, exactly.
and it's within their area.
Yep, yep. They have certain radius that they are able to deliver, and then beyond that, they have an option. But again, this is a company that is finding their feet as far as how to manage the logistics as well. I think that is something that they will continue to iterate over time, where
Okay.
they are either expanding that radius of where they are able to deliver, or they figure out see these. I mean, because I've shared with them a couple of other food delivery businesses that I've consulted with in the back in the time, which was like they have these common areas where food gets delivered, like school campuses
Okay.
and church blocks and other places where food gets kind of assembled for that community. It's a bunch of people coming in, and these are like these gated community members who
Yeah.
usually have certain pockets where they congregate, and that was some of the suggestions that we had given them, like they could explore. But I've actually not kept in touch with them on that particular aspect, as far as the logistics is concerned, how they are thinking about operations for that business.
Okay. So um so when you connected with these people,
Hmm.
all
Hmm.
right, just kind of take me
Oh
step by
yeah,
step through
okay.
what was the problem
The
that
problem,
you
okay,
were able to identify and say, oh, I might be able to help these guys.
yeah, exactly. So they were one of the managers. It's Sarah and Michael. Michael was one of the. I mean, they're one of the owners. And his main problem was to get more content out for people that will lead to more conversions. And he was looking to have a system that has content across multiple platforms. So he wanted to be as I think Facebook was his number one platform where he put content out.
Hmm.
Instagram was another one. He was not on TikTok, and he's not on LinkedIn, and which makes a lot of sense. I think
Yeah,
their target
I don't see
lives there.
LinkedIn. I don't
Yeah,
see LinkedIn.
there's no LinkedIn. So now TikTok was something that they were looking to bring in, but he wasn't too sure. Okay, if the target population is going to be there, but we kind of gave him a system to attempt that anyways, if they were willing to try. So basically, the
Yeah,
concept then became
to test it.
exactly to test it,
Yeah,
to
sure.
test it. So one of the ways in which we could use these, let's say, be it ChatGPT and other things, was to automate that whole workflow of idea creation, post writing, have like a editor agent, which basically reads the post that the first agent creates, does an editing, and kind of adds value from external resources. So it is to ensure that whatever written content is created by these agents. And so the original workflow or the workflow without all these agents was Michael sitting and writing these posts
Okay,
and
let's
trying to.
back up for a second because I need to make sure, um, like not just for this old white guy, but also the people who might be watching this.
Yeah.
You're talking about AI agent.
Yes.
What is an AI agent?
Okay. So I think right now a good way to understand it would be you see these chatbots like LLMs, large language models like the
Yeah,
Chat
exactly.
GPTs
Chatbot.
and
Yeah, the
chatbots, right?
people understand chatbots.
People
Most
understand.
of them don't understand LLMs. They don't understand that stuff. I have to force myself to learn your language, which I'm not really happy with, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I like you, so that's how I stay. That's good enough for me.
Okay.
But you see, most people are sitting there going, well, "What the hell is an LLM? What is a large language model? What is an agent? What is this stuff? What are you talking about?"
No,
Okay,
I
you're
agree.
using, and I want to make sure that yeah, okay, there is a language we need to be able to speak,
Hmm.
but let's dumb it down to where they get
Yeah,
it. All right,
absolutely.
all right, so
Absolutely. So let's say the chatbot, so there's another word to use it is the large language model. Basically,
sure,
it's a next word predictor.
yeah,
And it really does it well so that we start to believe it actually is intelligent.
it's real.
It's real. We start to belive, but essentially that's
I
what it
know the
is,
ones
right?
I talk to are real. I don't
Oh,
know.
really?
There's no I'm not talking to any LLMs.
No, I agree. So that's the chat GPT, right? Like that's your chatbot.
Yeah, right.
Now, how do we ensure that for it to truly become agentic, it is to add tools to it? Add tools. So what is adding tools? It is okay, let's make it maybe take a step forward. What is agentic? You have this chat GPT, which can act as the one that speaks or the one that predicts the next word. But for it to become agentic, it is to ensure it is able to do actions beyond just predict the next word. What
Predict the
is,
next word.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So let's say, what is make actions? For instance, with this prediction, it should be now able to talk to other applications. And once it talks to the other applications, it should be able to retrieve information and send information to those other applications. A way to envision this could be a chatbot that is connected to your calendar. So let's say we deliver this chatbot on calendar to your website. Someone comes to your website. Let's say customer comes to your website, asks questions to this chatbot, right? It answers with the understanding because we have now loaded this chatbot with the information about your services or products or whatever it is, right? So people come to this website, they are talking to this chatbot. The chatbot is able to provide context correct information. It is able to provide information about Steve, about the books you've written, about all the work that you've done with the different clients, and it's able to have a full-on conversation with someone who's coming to the website. Now this person says, "Okay, perfect. I think Steve is my kind of guy. I think he has everything that I have that I want. So can you help me set up a meeting?" Now, the immediately chatbot says, "Okay, let me look up Steve's calendar." Looks up Steve's calendar, and the only way that chatbot is able to do that is because you're creating these connections. So once it's able to now talk to Steve's calendar, get back that information, and then it says, "Okay, these are the times Steve's available. Do you want me to book a time?" Perfect. Okay, let me book this time. Do you have any information about this meeting that you'd like to share? Let's do that. Everything happens in that chatbot. But now the chatbot basically did the action of a front desk agent. Someone would be at the front desk who would be in a position to share information about you.
A front desk secretary, somebody who's sitting at your front desk, who knows everything about your company.
Yes, and 24/7. Because you're
that's what, and yeah, but now it's 24/7.
Exactly.
It's not somebody that you're walking through the front door of a building, and because I want to make sure the people that are listening or watching understand. I'm saying, okay, in the old days, everybody got the idea that you would go to a business, you walk through the front door, and there's a receptionist, secretary, somebody who's sitting right there, and that person knows the answers to all your questions. That person, you're going to walk up and you're going to say, "Oh, I have an appointment with so and so," or I need to talk to somebody in blah 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 or whatever. Okay, and that person says, "Yeah, I can. Yes, you want to talk to Arvind, right? Yeah. And I can connect you with him, and blah 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 blah, right? Okay, that's the old days of the walk in and talk to somebody. Okay, but now you can walk in and talk to somebody 24/7 from anywhere in the world.
Exactly.
24/7.
Yeah.
Right.
Because exactly, and it is. Here's the deal, right? Like your customers come to your websites when they have the time. It could be after business hours.
When they want to come to your website. It's not when they have the time. It's when they want to come to your website.
Exactly. It's not when you're open. It's when they want to come. Right?
Everything is 24/7 now.
Exactly. So now, how do you, as a small company, who is not able to have a staff of, I don't know, 100,000 people working around the clock for you? That doesn't make sense because my margins and my scale is not that. So, but I still need to be available for my customer because my customer can come in at 10 p.m. after a long day's work. I'm sitting back, I'm like, have my dinner, and then I'm like, hey, I want to, remember this guy that I saw somewhere on Facebook during lunch?
I saw that.
I'm going to check him out right now.
I want to go check this. Want to go check this guy out. Where was he? And you find it, and then you find that you click, and now you show up. All right.
Exactly. And that's the moment of highest intent, right? When the person comes in, whatever time, 10 p.m. to your website, they want to really know about what you and think about all the gymnastics and the gimmicks that you play to get people on your website. There's so much, because there's so much noise out there. You do so much to come to get them to your website, and it makes no sense for nobody to greet them. It's almost like, the way I think about it, it's like going to a restaurant and there's no one to greet you or seat you, and you just awkwardly stand there. That's how your website kind of looks. If you don't have something,
that's exactly right.
And now with the customer there, you're able to furnish all of this information. You are able to connect, maybe convert that lead.
Well, and you're able to answer their question.
Absolutely.
Direct them to the place they need to go.
Yep.
Okay, but the fascinating thing about this. All right, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you?
No. So no, this is just one of the workflows. I mean, there are other workflows that you can kind of build into this. So one I just mentioned to you was the setting up the call. But it could just be, I'm just trying to get more information. Okay, perfect. Give me your email. Here's a lead magnet or something that you can send them their way. And everything can be kind of housed within this chat module that's quickly deployable on your website. And it makes a huge difference between not having anything on your website and having something that actually engages with the customer. It does
Engaged. I
make a
love
very,
that
yeah,
word.
yeah,
I almost threw that word at you just now.
yeah,
You beat me to it.
yeah.
Engage is the word. That's the
Hmm.
word. You want to engage. If somebody shows up at
Hmm.
my website,
Hmm.
they've already engaged with me.
Hmm.
So now I want to keep that
Hmm.
engagement going,
Hmm.
but I also want to keep it going in the direction that they want to go.
Exactly.
See, so
Exactly.
this is where AI comes in.
Exactly. Exactly.
You and I both. I mean, if we talk about pre-AI,
Hmm.
before December 1922, I mean
Yeah.
2022, not
Yeah.
1922. I wasn't quite around then, but at 2022, before December 2022, the way you and I would be talking to businesses to try to help them grow their business.
Hmm.
It we're it would be it was caveman
Hmm. Yeah.
compared to
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Yep.
Because now what we're saying to people is you don't have to be a $1 billion company.
Yep. Yeah.
That's that was the thing
Hmm.
about the example you shared. This was
Hmm.
a 6-person,
Yeah.
300,000
Yeah.
K uh, um,
Business.
company
Hmm.
that you were able to help.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I look at all these other um, I mean, Greg Eisenberg, brilliant
Hmm.
guy,
Hmm.
but I keep listening to I keep reading these guys, and I keep reading about. I mean, and help me if I'm wrong. I'm
No.
getting these wrong. AMMR. I mean, most people are going,
Mhm.
"What the F are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just trying to get more people to buy my
Hmm.
um
Exactly.
meals.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
All right.
There's
Now,
quite a bit of uh, you know lecturing that happens all around as to there's so much of hype. There's so much of hype and there's so much of noise, and the unfort and it
and
is expected,
buzzwords.
right?
Hype
So
and
many
buzzwords. I
buzzwords.
hate
How
I hate
happen?
hype and buzzwords. Just
Uh,
talk
exactly.
English
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I think it's part of any new tech that really has potential, also has this side of it. But the what would be unfortunate is if people just get turned off by the noise and don't see the true value that it can generate. That's going to be the sorry state. And I hope that doesn't happen, especially to smaller businesses, because they are so turned off by all the noise about AI, the hype about AI, and then they find themselves a couple of years down the road saying, "Oh shit, I should have
Yeah.
just leaned in a little bit." And partly the hope is, at least for the small audience that I have, which is not I'm not like a big creator or anything, just to at least give them these bite-sized ideas of to how to really uh, implement them and actually find value. I think that's the biggest part, right? Like, end of the day, why do anything if it has no ROI to it or instant value that you can gain out of it? And I just feel these small implementations have a huge benefit for any business.
Well, okay. So to my gang, my
Hmm.
BFFs who are listening, watching, and stuff like that, you guys know me that hey, I talk in one syllable words. All right. And Arvin, in the time that you and I have known each other, I think I'm pretty simple. I try to keep things as just brain dead simple as possible.
Yeah.
and that's where stuff like, your post on LinkedIn. Look at that. I went like that. Just grab my attention. And I want for you and I to go out and talk to. I mean, look, I get it. You and I are not going to make a lot of money off of somebody who's only making 300 grand a year. Okay. But I'm happy to help them. I mean, I really am. I'm happy to help them. But in the long term, in the the big thing to me is God, there's so many companies out there
Yeah.
that and you say they when something new comes, you know what? There's still businesses out there who are just they don't even have a website.
Yeah.
And in
I see.
1994, I don't know how old you are. You are clearly um at the age to date my daughter. She's got a boyfriend. Don't worry about that. Um uh and and I had my first website in 1994.
Wow. Wow. That is actually early.
Damn right it was early. That was
Yeah.
that was like in the beginning,
Yeah, I know.
right?
That's pretty cool.
And that I mean that's what I do though. See, I look at
Hmm.
this stuff and I like when AI,
Hmm.
when ChatGPT came out,
Yeah. You were
I
on it.
was there. I was
You were
there.
there.
Okay. And
You
my
were on
wife
it.
is
Yeah.
going, "Oh my God, Steve's got a new toy." And like, yeah, damn right, I've got a new toy. Because this is going to change the world.
Hmm.
And I knew the internet was going to change the world, but here we are from 1994 to today. There are still companies
Yeah.
who don't have websites that make any sense.
Hmm.
It's the old bell curve thing, right?
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
drawing this wrong without my camera, right? But so I want to know from you, Arvind. I want to
Hmm.
know, how do you and I, um, mainly you, and if I can help, I want to be there too.
Yeah.
How do we? I want to share this with people so that they understand the
Hmm.
possibility uh, um, that they don't get right now.
Yeah.
The
No, I
potential
think
that they don't get right now.
absolutely. No, I think it is to first lean in and attempt to implement some of the most simplest implementations, something that doesn't have to change your process, something that doesn't have to um, change the way you currently have your workflow set up. Because again, the potential is great, right? Like, you can go in and rethink your whole company around AI. However, that is may not be the best fit for all companies. But again, it's the same thing, right? Like when you went ahead in 1994 and set up your website, I don't know if you had the best SEO in place and everything, but you were there to try it out. You were there to dip in your toes and say, I'm going to set this up. And then it improves over time, right? Like,
Yes.
maybe, as you learn more about better
SEO? Are
SEO,
you
yeah,
kidding me? SEO in 1994?
exactly, right?
Are
No, of
you?
course not.
Wait, what?
There was no search engine.
It didn't
Exactly.
exist. It
Exactly. Right.
didn't exist.
So I think that's a great frame though for companies, businesses right now to attempt. Let's say the simplest implementation so far of AI is to have something as simple as let's create a basic chatbot that resides on my website and then let that chatbot just answer questions. Just answer questions. Maybe when a lead comes in, let's probably have that chatbot engage and nudge them for, hey, would you be interested in something? Like, let's take one additional step than we currently are.
Yeah.
And then you can think about because there's so much. Like for instance, there's a towing company, towing company that I'm helping. and they're
A
implementing a
towing company.
towing company. Yeah. So
Yeah,
they,
that's a big company.
yeah. And here the
I
thing,
don't know. It might be, but you think about that. You think a towing company wants to use AI? What the heck is wrong with these guys? You know, like
because their operations specific to the AI I'll talk about is pretty expensive. So a towing company is expected to stay like, answer their phones 24/7, right? They don't stop because they either have to be, the ones who are towing people out of accidents, or they're trying to help people move.
right.
So they need to have phone lines on 24/7.
Okay.
Let's say there's this towing company, again, we are working with, is a small one. I think about 8 members, including the drivers. Um, including the drivers. I think
Yeah.
three trucks for it's small family business. Now we are trying to build not a chatbot, but we are building a voice agent. So basically, this is an agent. You can try this. I can send you a link. You can call this agent, and this agent will answer the questions, or it will guide you and get your information. So instead of having someone be on the phone 24/7, take shifts, and to be on the phone answering the phone, you have this agent doing the intake. You call this agent, you give them information. I'm stuck in, I don't know, somewhere on the highway. I drive a Mercedes or whatever, right? And this is my car, this is my size. I need a tow truck. So this agent, voice agent that we are deploying, will take this information, send it back to dispatch, all without a person sitting there and answering the phone. This is something that we find. I think every towing company would likely benefit from this, because again, you are trying to address one of their biggest OpEx, which is someone answering the phone. Everything else has some kind of remuneration coming towards it. Like, if the driver is um, going and picking up the car, there's some, incoming funds for this. But this piece of work of just answering phone calls and setting it up to dispatch, that's pure cost saving. Like, if they can go through that.
Okay.
So that's I can share you the link, and I don't know, you can give it a shot. See if it'll answer your questions
I
that you
think
have.
what we should do is you and I, when we're done with this conversation, because I want to tell people. I mean, you
Mhm.
have to help me. What do you want next? Do you want people that we're talking to right now? Do you want them to reach out to you? And I assume you do. And if you know, and so maybe you use that as an example. That's your lead magnet.
Yeah,
Here's the phone number. Call these guys. You can
I'll
see
call
what
you.
this is, right?
Yeah,
Uh, um, and happy to do that. Uh, um,
by the
the
way,
other
we're also
one,
doing that for a real estate company.
well, and see, and
Um,
the other thing is that Taylor.io, I mean .ai,
mhm.
Taylor.ai.
Taylor Flow,
I'm sorry,
Taylor Flow. Mhm.
TaylorFlow.ai. God, I was so close. And TaylorFlow.ai is the company, and maybe there's you got to have your own AI that if somebody calls you
Yeah,
or texts you or something like that, that you've got your own
yeah,
connections for them,
connections. Yeah,
and answering the questions, that type of stuff.
yeah,
So, I mean, we will. I mean, I'm hoping that that's where we can go with this.
exactly.
Is so I can just say to people, hey, look, you know what? Maybe you're not a billion-dollar company. Maybe you're not even a $1 million company. You can still do stuff.
Yeah, no,
And
absolutely. In fact, I really believe this, that I think the folks who will truly benefit the most is small and medium
yeah, I
businesses.
agree. I agree
I mean,
completely.
it is transformative for them, because here's the deal, right? Like, you are in a way able to generate, manage, triage all of this work, which used to require people.
Yeah,
It doesn't anymore. Or I wouldn't say it doesn't anymore, but it's now a combination of human and machine. It's not human versus machine. I think a lot of people confuse it as human versus machine. This is human plus machine, to just ensure that small business owners can get the most out of their time, out of their money that they spend towards their business, like out of their investments. And I think it's important. And maybe it's going to take time for everybody to jump on in, but it is the truest value for AI to really help out people. If you want to do that, help out people is for SMBs.
I
And
do
I
want to
think
help out people. And I mean that's that's what I do. I want to help people. When you say maybe it's gonna take time. Well, okay, but in 1994, I dragged
Mhm,
I dragged my entire customer uh, base kicking and screaming into the internet world.
mhm, mhm,
And they were so pissed at me for why are you making us do this? And I'm like, trust me, this is going to be a big deal. And
mhm,
you need to understand this. You need to be, and when AI showed up, I was like, holy crap, here we go again.
mhm,
Because that's where we are. And it's still, the thing is that, um, that's, we're every day we're seeing something crazy new,
mhm, mhm.
right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I think you and I saw it was either yesterday or today, how ChatGPT has uh dramatically improved the
Improved.
image
Yeah.
creation and stuff like that. See, it's
Huge.
almost like every day
Mhm.
something
Yeah.
amazing is coming out of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And at some point, it has
Mhm,
to slow down a little bit.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can't keep going at this pace.
Mhm, mhm.
All right. But
Yeah.
but the average person that we're talking to, the average person who has a small business, they can't keep up with this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly true. I don't think they can or they need to,
Or they
but they
should. Yeah. Or
exactly. Yeah.
you're exactly that's the point, the phrase. They don't need to.
Exactly. Yeah. I think if they start because keeping up with this craziness, it's like, okay, today something has come out, tomorrow something. And I've been a victim of this news cycle around AI myself, where I'm like, you're trying to just get grasp for every new thing that comes out. I mean, that's the function of a newly exploding field. And we don't have to kind of play into that. But what would really be beneficial, me as a business owner, is tap into implementation because I think the craziness of the new developments that's like a dopamine hit and crash
Ah,
doesn't really help us. I think instead you just implement something, you
yeah.
learn more about AI with that one implementation. For instance, right? Go back to the chatbot implementation. Eventually, what you'll get out of the chatbot is you will be able to see the interactions that your customers are having with that chat, right? The customer's asking several different types of questions. Now you just have a treasure of information that what your customers think and what your customers want. And then you think about, okay, now if that's what my customers want, you just have more data. You figure out a way to fine tune your offering, fine tune your lead magnets, fine tune your content. So this is where some small implementation such as that can feed your larger vision of how AI can help. Again, let's start from that cycle again. You get more information through that chatbot.
Okay.
You take that information and feed into your content machine,
Right.
which now creates content specifically tied to that customer or similar customers.
Yes.
So now you have this loop going where you're directly talking to that person or the persona of that person who came to your website. And then you have more varieties of this. And then think about it. You're building up a customer map and a customer intelligence for your own company that you can just, continue to have this loop going.
Yeah.
And it becomes very powerful over time. But if you don't have the initial implementation, you just don't have it. I mean, you're missing out on something that is truly valuable, which is real customer questions and insights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm even though I am I pride myself on chasing this stuff, understanding this stuff, learning this stuff. all the time. I'm always still baffled when not baffled. I'm always still blown away when I have a chance to have a conversation like you and I are having right now about what you're doing and what you're accomplishing with this. And that is so cool. This is just so cool. So,
Yeah.
all right, we've been on for a long
Yeah,
while.
for a while.
I'm going to let you go because I've taken advantage of you completely. What I want to do though is you tell me, uh, um, do you want me to give them your
Yeah.
website? Do you want me to give them what do you want me to tell people to do right now?
Website or directly connecting with me on LinkedIn or
LinkedIn,
LinkedIn.
okay?
Yeah. I think my Calendly is also there. Be happy to kind of have a chat. Again, we are we are developing these one-off systems right now, but given that we see how people are actually implementing this, we are also developing something that's super quick to deploy. So technically, and we should have that in about I want to say a month and a half from now. And the promise is you'll be able to deploy some of these solutions within 5 minutes. And let's try to see if we can, get that one. And we get that to be the real value add for small businesses, right? Like again, what we're seeing is most small businesses do not have the understanding of how these systems work. Some don't have the interest to learn how these systems work, but
Just
we
no,
do.
and I'm going to back up on that real quick. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, you're totally right, 100%. It's not just, but it's not that they don't have the interest. They want to grow their businesses.
Yes, exactly. That is true.
We know they want to grow their businesses, but
Exactly.
they just don't see
Mhm.
why they should do that
Yeah,
or why they
exactly.
should do this. Okay, so I
Yeah.
apologize for interrupting
No,
you.
no, 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 no. That's absolutely right. Like, they want to have the results. But I think with all the noise, I think going back to what we just spoke about, all the noise about the space and it's quite distracting, and it's too overwhelming, and there's people step out.
Oh, great way
So
of putting it. Quite
yeah, right.
distracting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, how do we make sure for that crowd we're able to offer value within, I don't know, before your lunch starts and ends? Here is a chatbot. It's all also already on your website, and it's going to start answering questions. And it is 5 minutes. We've actually timed it. We've done some internal beta. We should be able to deploy it within 5 minutes, and that's the
Wow.
goal. And that piece of it is not ready to go right now. It's going to take about a month and a half because we're just making it more pretty looking and doing some piping.
We
But
need pretty.
we need it pretty.
Got to have
So
pretty. It's the
exactly,
way it is.
exactly.
See
So,
that?
but
See
and it,
pretty right there, pretty right
with
there,
I can see the
pretty over there.
man.
Pretty over there.
I
Yeah.
we could keep talking because I'm still thinking about it. You were talking. You said something and got me reminded of your Boeing example. I don't know if the Boeing example is from your book or some of the
Oh
discussions that we
yeah,
had.
yeah.
Uh,
The Boeing, right?
and anyways, for some reason, I suddenly my mind just went there. Anyways, coming back. For now, people can reach out. Again, LinkedIn. Happy to have a call. Just discuss about it. You don't have to you don't have to buy anything. But eventually, we're going to be deploying that, and I really hope when we deploy that, people at least try it out. I think it's going to be super helpful for anybody who having a business to at least have this kind of a chatbot on their website. It's conversational. It has a discussion
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
with the visitor, and well, beyond that, if it makes sense, they should continue to lean in.
Yep. All
Yeah,
right. Okay. All
awesome.
right. So this is where we are today.
Yeah,
We may be back.
but for now,
I mean, I don't know. Who knows? We may be
yeah,
back with more, but boy, if you didn't
yeah.
learn some stuff right now, get off my list.
Yeah.
Can't help him. Arvind, thank you so much. This guy has the best hair. I can't even believe how his hair. How does he do that? I don't know, folks. It must be AI. So appreciate you, man. Great
Absolutely.
seeing you
Thanks, Steve.
again. Look forward to staying in touch and I appreciate you.
Thank you.